Hello, dear friends. This is Dr. Harold Benson, a physician with over 30 years of experience treating patients over 60. Today we'll talk about what could really be holding you back from living a long, active life. And we're not talking about expensive medications or genetics, but about something very simple: the foods we eat every day. Often, it's food that stealthily robs us of strength, health, and years of life. And the most surprising thing is that many of my patients consider these foods harmless or even healthy. But after 60, our bodies become especially vulnerable, and what was once forgivable now becomes a serious problem. Let me tell you a story. A few months ago, Mr. George, 72, came to see me. He complained of constant fatigue, fluctuating blood pressure, and shortness of breath. "Doctor, I don't understand where all this is coming from," he said. "I hardly eat fatty meats. I don't overindulge in sweets. I try to eat as usual." But when I questioned him in detail about his diet, it turned out that he started almost every breakfast with white bread and sausage, snacked on chips during the day, and liked to drink sugary soda in the evening. At first, he didn't see anything wrong with it. "What's the big deal, doctor? I don't eat cakes by the kilo." But tests showed something else: high cholesterol, excess weight, and signs of early diabetes. Now, another story. Mrs. Elizabeth, 69, also came to see me a year ago. She had similar complaints: high blood pressure, fatigue, swelling. But unlike George, she decided to completely overhaul her diet. "Doctor, I realized I had to eliminate all unnecessary things from my life. I cut out sausages, stopped buying sugary sodas and white bread. I replaced them gradually, step by step." And guess what? 3 months later, her blood pressure stabilized, the swelling went down, and her energy returned. She even started walking in the park every day and admitted she felt young again. 2 stories, 2 different approaches. It was the food on their plates that became the key to their health, or, conversely, illness. So, what foods should you eliminate from your diet after 60 to not just survive, but to live actively, long, and happily? Today, I'll tell you about the hidden enemies of your health foods that age the body and put strain on the heart, blood vessels, and joints. And most importantly, I'll show you how to replace them so your food remains delicious and brings you joy. Stay with me until the end, because in the end, I'll give you a step-by-step plan on how to gently and stress-freely eliminate excess weight and make nutrition an ally to your longevity. Friends, let's now take a closer look at the foods that most often cause health problems after age 60. And most importantly, these aren't exotic dishes, but the most common foods we see in stores every day: sausages and processed meats. When I ask patients, "Do you often eat sausage or hot dogs?" many answer, "Of course, doctor, it's convenient." But this is precisely where the real danger lies. Sausages and hot dogs contain a lot of salt, saturated fat, and preservatives. After age 60, our blood vessels become less elastic, and our kidneys are less able to cope with the load. The result is high blood pressure, swelling, and the risk of stroke. A practical example: my patient, Mr. Robert, 66, ate sausage almost every day. A sandwich in the morning, a couple of sausages in the evening, for a light dinner. The result? Blood pressure, 100, and an extra 12 kilo over the course of a year. When he gave up sausage, his blood pressure dropped, and the weight gradually came off. Alternative: instead of sausage, use boiled chicken, turkey, or fish. Make a sandwich with baked chicken breast and lettuce. Delicious and 100 times healthier. Fried potatoes, chips, and fast food. We've already talked about potatoes as a healthy food when cooked properly. But everything changes when we deep fry them. The oil turns them into a calorie bomb, putting strain on the heart and joints. Example: Mr. Stephen, 68, confessed, "Doctor, I can't live without French fries." The result? Obesity, diabetes, and constant complaints of leg pain. After switching to baked potatoes with greens, his blood pressure dropped within a few months, and he began to lose weight. Alternative: bake or steam potatoes. Add garlic, dill, or olive oil for a bold yet flavorful flavor. White bread and baked goods. White bread is another tricky food. It quickly raises blood sugar levels but doesn't provide a long-lasting feeling of fullness. After age 60, this leads to blood sugar spikes, weakness, and weight gain. Example: Mrs. Nora, 71, was accustomed to morning tea with white bread and butter. "Doctor, I don't eat anything extra," she said. But her blood sugar levels were consistently higher than normal. After switching to whole grain bread, her health improved noticeably. Alternatives: whole grain bread, seeded bread, or whole grain crisp bread. They release sugar slowly and contain more fiber. Sweet carbonated drinks. Soda is the biggest health enemy after 60. It contains a huge amount of sugar, which overloads the pancreas and blood vessels. A typical glass of cola can contain up to 7 to 8 tablespoons of sugar. Example: Mr. George, 72, from the story in the introduction, drank soda every night. His blood sugar was borderline diabetic, and his blood pressure was constantly off the charts. After giving up soda, he lost 5 kilos in 2 months and began to feel better. Alternatives: water with lemon, unsweetened fruit drinks, herbal teas. These are just as refreshing and offer enormous benefits. Many older people enjoy tea with cookies, cakes, and candy. But excess sugar accelerates the aging of blood vessels and joints. It increases inflammation and leads to type 2 diabetes. Example: Mrs. Clara, 69, used to drink tea with 2 to 3 lumps of sugar and candy. A few years later, she was diagnosed with diabetes. After switching to berries and fruits instead of sweets, she stabilized her blood sugar levels and felt a surge of energy. Alternatives: berries, fruits, dark chocolate, 70 or higher. You'll still get the sweet taste, but without overloading your body. Many people still use margarine for baking and sandwiches, but the trans fats it contains are enemy number 1 for the heart and blood vessels. They increase bad cholesterol and accelerate the development of atherosclerosis. Example: Mr. Thomas, 65, loved to bake pies with margarine. A few years later, he developed severe heart pain, and doctors diagnosed coronary artery disease. When he replaced margarine with olive oil, his condition improved. Alternative: olive oil, avocado, natural butter in small quantities, salty snacks, chips, crackers, salted nuts. These foods seem like a light snack, but they actually overload the body with huge amounts of salt. After age 60, this is a direct path to hypertension and edema. Example: Mrs. Helen, 67, loved to crunch on crackers in the evenings. She couldn't understand why her blood pressure was constantly hovering at 16/90. When she gave up salty snacks, her blood pressure dropped, and she felt noticeably better. Alternatives: unsalted nuts, vegetable sticks with yogurt sauce, fruit. All these products, sausages, fried potatoes, white bread, soda, sweets, margarine, and salty snacks, have one thing in common. They are fast, tasty, and familiar. But they slowly undermine your health, especially after age 60. It's important to understand, we're not talking about a complete ban forever. But if you eliminate them from your daily diet or minimize them, You'll feel the difference within a few weeks. Your blood pressure will become more stable, the heaviness will go away, and you'll feel more energetic. Friends, we've looked at the foods that, after age 60, become true thieving guests in our bodies. They steal our health quietly and unnoticed, but the consequences can be very serious. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and joint problems. But the good news is that changing the situation is in your hands. I want to share with you a simple, step-by-step plan that has helped hundreds of my patients give up unhealthy foods and feel that age is not a death sentence. Simply write down everything you eat for a week. Sometimes people say, "Doctor, I hardly eat sweets." But the diary turns out to be tea with 2 lumps of sugar 3 times a day, a cookie in the evening, and a couple of candies for the soul. Writing it down helps you see the picture honestly. You don't have to give up everything at once. Start with one thing. For example, replace soda with water with lemon. After a week, switch from white bread to whole grain. Small steps are much more effective than sudden bans. Remember, food should be enjoyable. Instead of sausage, try turkey or baked fish. Instead of sweets, try berries and fruits. Instead of chips, try unsalted nuts. The body quickly adapts to new flavors, especially if you cook with herbs and spices. Half your plate should be vegetables, a quarter should be protein, fish, poultry, legumes, and the other quarter should be complex carbohydrates, whole grains, potatoes, buckwheat. This simple rule will automatically help you reduce the amount of unhealthy foods you eat. Don't tell yourself, "I'll never eat cake again." Say, "I'm choosing foods that will prolong my life and keep me healthy." Mental attitude is crucial, and it helps you avoid giving in. Remember Mr. George, who gave up soda? He lost weight, his blood pressure became more stable, and he felt 10 years younger. And Mrs. Helen, who cut out salty snacks, finally got her blood pressure under control and got rid of her constant headaches. I have dozens of examples like this, and you could be the next person to say, "Doctor, I feel light again, I have more energy, and I'm living life to the fullest." After 60, our health depends on every choice we make. There's no need to look for miracle pills or expensive supplements. Sometimes it's enough to simply eliminate what's hindering your health and reintroduce what's beneficial. Take this step for yourself today. Try eliminating at least one bad food from the list we discussed and replacing it with a healthy alternative. And in a week, see how you feel. I'm sure the result will surprise you. Friends, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your loved ones. Let us know in the comments. What product are you ready to give up today? This was Dr. Harold Benson. Take care of yourself and remember, health is the secret to longevity.